Hi, everybody. My name's Gracie, and today I'm really excited to share something super exciting. Well, at least I find really exciting, which is how UAS and photogrammetry are transforming crime scene reconstruction. And just really quickly, if this box is in any type of text or photos, which I think are personally really cool, I inserted the PDF format of this presentation down in the description below. This was just the easiest way for me to do this. And so if you're interested in looking at that and following along, I put that down there. But back to it. I'll be honest, I was really excited to choose this topic because I'm very deep into the show Dexter right now, but mostly because forensic science and investigative technology genuinely just fascinates me. And once I started researching it, I actually realized how much accuracy documentation truly matters in this investigation. Well, not this investigation, but you know what I mean. Real forensic work looks nothing like crime TV, and that's exactly why this technology is so important and just really exciting. So let's talk about why this truly matters. When a crime scene is disturbed, evidence is permanently gone and there is no redo button. So traditional methods like hand measurements, sketches, and ground level photos can just be really slow and leave huge room for human error. And since we're surveying students, we can understand how serious accuracy is. In surveying, even a tiny measurement error can shift a boundary line or change engineering decisions. And the exact same principle applies to forensic evidence. And if measurements are wrong or incomplete, the entire interpretation of a case can change. And that affects real people and real outcomes, which I know we can relate to surveying. So, how do we document scenes faster, safer, and more accurately without risking evidence? That's where UAS completely changes the game. So the limitations before drone technology, traditional crime scene documentation required investigators to walk through the scene, place evidence markers, using measuring tape, and taking hundreds and hundreds of photos, all while trying not to disturb anything, which is slow, it's risky, and details get missed. So I would relate it to a crash scene on a highway. Traditionally, lanes would be shut down for hours, which I know we've all been there, while investigators work just feet away from speeding traffic, and they're trying to document everything quickly and accurately with pressure, and safety is top concern. And then later, they're trying to piece together flat photos and mentally build a 3D space, which is basically guessing, which we all know is a no-no. And guessing is not good enough, sorry, when someone's freedom and justice is on the line. So this photo shows exactly how manual and limited traditional tools are. It's obviously not as good as drones, which are obviously pretty cool compared to this. So how UAS mapping works. So UAS, if you don't know, I'm sure we all do, but some might not. Unmanned aircraft systems. They capture hundreds of overlapping aerial images and from multiple angles, and the software, like Pix4D, then processes those images into measurable 3D models using photogrammetry. And instead of walking a scene with a tape measure, investigators can rotate it and zoom in and measure distances and elevations digitally and preserve the scene exactly how it was found without disturbing evidence or risking any safety. So it creates a digital twin that can be explored forever and even years later. And instead of describing it, I was just going to show you a video because I think this video is really cool. However, I can't show you it. So I'm going to link it below. This video is really cool if you skip into 30 seconds. It is a video from a YouTube series called Drones for Crime Scene Reconstruction. It is episode 4, and I trimmed it to about 30 seconds so that you can see the workflow clearly, but obviously you don't have to go look at it, but if you're interested, it is a really cool video. You'll be able to see a drone flying a grid pattern to collect overlapping photos, and they use a software that then generates a dense point cloud and converts it into a 3D model. So the investigators can, like I said before, like rotate, zoom, and measure from every angle, and that lets them reconstruct exactly what happened without ever stepping into the scene. So pretty wild compared to traditional flat photos. So now we're going to get into the NIJ research, which is National Institute of Justice. They say that drone-based reconstruction significantly improves accuracy, reduces evidence contamination, and increases safety because investigators can document scenes digitally instead of walking through them. The NIJ also found major time savings with UAS and photogrammetry and are used compared to traditional manual methods. So research is great, but real world cases show the impact even more clearly. A real case example of this is what I kind of mentioned briefly before about the Daybill case. So Pix4D shares a major example, like I said, from the Daybill case, where 3D reconstruction models were used in court to visually show burial locations and property layout. So instead of trying to imagine a scene from confusing photos, the jury could actually see it and understand it. And the remote mapping group reports that using drones for crash documentation can reduce roadway closures by up to 80%, which improves safety and public flow dramatically. This image is what they reconstructed forensic model, it's what reconstructed forensic models can look like. And examples like this shows exactly why agencies are adopting UAS so quickly. This picture is also from Pix4D. So advantages. I want to relate this to something real again, a highway crash scene. Traditionally, lanes might close for hours while investigators try to measure everything before cars can move again. So with UAS, a drone flies the scene in minutes while traffic keeps flowing, and investigators stay safe and nothing gets disturbed, and the model is far more detailed than anything built manually. So the big advantages really come down to speed, safety, accuracy, and the ability to visually show evidence in 3D instead of trying to describe it. So instead of saying, just picture this angle over here, you can actually show it. So of course, nothing is perfect, which leads me into limitations and ethics. So a UAS does come with challenges. FAA, airspace restrictions, weather limitations, privacy concerns, equipment, training costs, and a strict digital chain of custody rules, and etc. There's a lot more. But think of aviation, they show in the restricted airspace map, drones can just fly wherever they want without authorization. But those limitations aren't slowing down innovation. The future of forensic mapping is incredible. So the future, which is really cool, we're moving towards AI-assisted evidence tagging, basically flying a drone without a pilot, real-time live stream scene mapping, so to command centers, and VR courtroom walkthroughs where jurors literally step inside the scene using headsets. And the coolest part is we are already learning Pix4D in our surveying program, which means we're gaining skills that we are going to use widely in forensic work and public safety moving forward. I just really like this photo because it really shows that futuristic point of view for the VR and drone. So let's wrap this up. So to bring everything together, UAS forensic mapping is transforming investigators by improving accuracy, preserving scenes safely, reducing contamination, speeding up documentation, and giving courts the ability to see the truth instead of imagining it. It applies everything we value in surveying: precision, measurement integrity, and complete documentation directly to justice. So thank you so much for listening. I'd love to answer any questions if you have any down below. And again, I would really love if you guys watch that video. I think it's a really cool way of seeing how this works in investigations and just the future of our technology in UAS. So thank you. And here are all of my references if anybody has any questions about those as well.